Happy Saturday, runners. It is September 12th, and today's video I will be talking about the 5K race that took place this morning. And yeah, just wanted to let you know how it went and what I was expecting to do and how I did. By the way, if you're not familiar with this channel, I am a runner and running coach, and this channel is just something I do for fun, just talking about running. Love to hear from you. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so down at the bottom, and also feel free to leave comments and just let me know what you love about running. That's what this is all about. So let's dive on in. So I'm feeling better. For those of you who don't know, I had COVID back at the middle part of July and had it pretty bad for a couple of weeks, and have since been recovered from it. So that's good. I got an antibody test a couple weeks ago, and that came back positive, which confirmed that I did have COVID, because my original test was 16 days late, basically, with the results, and that came back negative, which I was questioning first and foremost. So, but yeah, today we're going to talk about my race and how it went, what my expectations were going into it, and ultimately what I did. So, I've been kind of training a little bit for a 5K a while ago. This was long before I got sick, because we were going to do the Carlsbad 5000, which would have been next weekend. But of course, with the pandemic, that was canceled last month. So we never got around to obviously being able to see that through, of course. So this was an opportunity. There was a local race right down, really, like less than 4 miles from our house, from a local friend and coach, Flash, who put together a race, and he puts together some races here as well in our community of Ahwatukee, like 3Ks and sprints. He's more into the short stuff. 5K is about as long as he'll do. So it was basically an invite, and I, along with my wife, my sister-in-law, and some of our friends, did the race, and one of the guys that I'm coaching also took part in it. It was done at a park, and there's a little hill, not too bad, and then it picks back up on the other side, and we did 2 loops around the park. This is a park that my wife and I go to on a fairly regular basis for our speed workouts, since the tracks aren't open. So it has a nice blacktop path, and it's about I want to say more than half a mile long. So yeah, it's a good course. So going into it, I wasn't sure where I was going to fall in terms of my overall time. As a 5K runner, I'm usually right around 24 minutes, give or take a little bit. I'm pretty consistent for the most part. That's a 7:45 pace, roughly. Ever since I got sick with COVID, I've been kind of getting back into it, and trying to build slowly and progress that way. And thankfully, with each passing week, I seem to be doing that. I've been really taking my heart rate and checking it and making sure I'm not like overworking myself too much, and then I'm recovering well, and everything is coming back like that. I'm starting to get a little bit quicker, although I'm still not back to my normal paces, but that's okay. So today was basically, hey, let's go out, let's have fun, let's work, and see what we can do. So the race started, and I will first say that there were a lot of community college and high school runners there, so it was a very fast field. I was shocked where I actually finished in the race, because I'm rarely ever in that position, but that just goes to show you the level of talent. Let's put it that way. So, spoiler alert, right? So the race started, and in my mind going into this, I was thinking I'd be around like a 9:30 pace possibly, but I really didn't know because the hardest workout I've done for any distance was a mile repeat, and I only did 2 of those. So I needed to kind of gauge, where I was on this race slowly. However, the first, I don't know, quarter of a mile or so, I was running sub 8. I thought, wow, this is getting kind of quick for me. One of our friends was doing the race as well, and her and I were pretty close for that quarter mile, and then she started to separate from me and got out to I'd say probably 8-10 seconds, ahead of me, which is fine. I was just kind of eyeing on her and trying to keep the same distance, and that helped me a lot ultimately in the race. But as I was running, I looked at my watch, and my pace after the first mile was 8:12, and then after that, I'm just looking at my pace here. My second mile dipped quite a bit. It basically was an 8:54. So that first mile probably didn't go out too quick. Maybe I should have went out at 8:30, 8:40-ish pace. But I felt decent, but I also felt like I was working pretty hard. The fact that I could do that was great. But obviously I couldn't hold that pace. Normally I'd be running at 7:45, 7:50 or so. So I knew I was kind of close. I was actually closer to my 10K pace more than anything else. That was kind of scary. So yeah, second mile I did 8:54. And on the first loop at basically 1.55, I clocked in about 13:04, which would have been a 26:08 race if I ran even splits. So keep that number in mind, 13:04 for the first half. The second lap, we're familiar with what we did on the first lap. A couple of zigzags, and then we went down the hill and back up. And I was getting pretty tired there, as we hit the second mile after that 8:54. Recovered a little bit, went up and down a little bit with pace. Third mile, though, as I was approaching, I remember at 2.75 with basically, a little bit more than a quarter of a mile to go. I knew that I was going to have to pick it up a little bit, and I typically have a pretty decent sprint. This time it took a little bit longer. I think maybe I kicked it in around the 100-meter mark. I know I started to at 200, but I wasn't getting the turnover as much as I wanted to. My third mile I did 8:43, so better than 8:54. So I did recover a little bit after that second mile. And then I finished it in 26:25. Now that's unofficial. The official results will be out soon. But for the most part, I'm probably within a second or two is my guess of that, which I am ecstatic about. Honestly, if you were to ask me, before the race, where was I going to land? I thought that my pace would be maybe a 9:30. Possibly a chance of a 9:15. But I really didn't know. That's because I haven't had a race since I've been sick, and anything that's been a harder workout than a mile repeat. So did I have the endurance for it, even though 5K is short? A lot of unknowns. But, and being familiar with races all these years, once the race starts and you get into this, as you know, being runners and races out there that you do, your mind remembers, that muscle memory, and you get out there and you hammer away. And with a 5K race, yeah, it's not a 400-meter race, it's not a 100-meter race where, a 100-meter race is all-out sprint. Definitely not. It's not all anaerobic, but, you're redlining it. You are really hitting, pretty hard threshold. And then you got to try and keep it that way. So yeah, that's what I was doing today. I was breathing hard. I think I was in the back, 5th from last, maybe 7th from last. And typically I'm in the top 25% of the field. But there were a lot of high school, community college, cross-country runners, and just good runners in general young and old, because this is usually a pretty good field with this coach who puts on races. So yeah, there's no messing around here. My wife did the race and she did great. She did 19:13. I was telling one of my athletes that I think she's going to run a 19:23, and not too far off. I guess a little bit slower than what she actually did, but she had a really good race, and I think she was third overall for females. So awesome race there. And my sister-in-law did as well. I think she finished around like 24-20 something. You know, pretty close to what she wanted to do, and other runners as well. I mean, it was a good race overall. I want to say about in the mid 60s for a low, possibly maybe like 68, but didn't feel bad at all. And we have this haze from the wildfires, Arizona, California, so it actually kept the sun from being down on us. It was at 7 o'clock, so well after sunrise. So yeah, I feel good. I feel very happy about what I did. I was just looking at like where am I at with my running and what's my overall pace. My easy run is really like 9:45 to 10, and when I've been running lately, my easy runs have been about 11. So a minute, maybe say a minute 15 apart from that. That's the only thing I can really compare. So with the race, I mean, if all things being equal, if I was doing before a 7:45 to even at worst 8-minute 5K, I should be like 9:15, right, for my race, and I did 8:31. The only question I have, I guess, is that first mile 8:12. Let's say I had dialed it back a bit and did an 8:30, maybe even 8:40. Maybe I could hold the other 2 miles at 8:40, 8:35. So maybe I'm closer to that like 26-minute mark or so. I mean, I don't think I would have done that much faster. Another 20 seconds possibly to get close to a sub 25. But yeah, totally excited. So I'm coming back. I feel really good. This has been pretty much 2 months from the day that I first got sick. And then I had a couple weeks that it was the first week I got sick, not until that weekend where I really felt bad. And that lasted for a little bit. So, things are coming back. I mean, if any of you out there have been struck by COVID, and I don't know if you had mild, moderate, or severe symptoms, and have recovered since, or if you're recovering, definitely wishing you the best. My understanding is some people, it takes them no time to recover, and others it may take months. Aside from running, I feel pretty good. I take my blood pressure regularly. I've been checking my heart rate and all. Pretty much for the most part, I'm back to normal with it. And it's just the running that has taken a little longer. I want to push it a little bit more, knowing what I did in this race. So we'll see how that goes. I'm running, 17 miles for the week with tomorrow to go. Tomorrow will be a very easy, I'm thinking like 2 miles and maybe 3, but probably 2 miles just to recover, and that'll put me at 19 miles for the week. So I've been every week increasing a little bit. It started at like 6 miles or so, 6.5, went to 7, then gradually picked it up. So over the course of 6 weeks of really being able to run, I've gotten closer to that 20-mile mark. So yeah, that's it. Just a recap of how I did in the race today, and really looking forward to improving. And the weather is starting to cool out here. Our highs this past week, we've had some days like 90 some and 96, 97. We'll be getting closer to like that 105, 106 mark. The average this time of the year is about 101. So We had some slightly below temperatures, and now we're going to be slightly above, but the mornings have been cool. It'll probably get back into the upper 70s, possibly like 80 to 82. But I think we'll get another maybe week or two of this, and hopefully we'll start to, get closer to that century mark, or even like 90, 95 on a regular basis, which means the mornings are cooler. So let me know what you guys are up to. Are you guys racing? Are you training for anything? Whether it's virtual or really a race where you guys can compete with other runners out there. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching, and definitely please be safe out there. Enjoy your runs, and let me know what you guys are up to. Thanks as always for watching. You guys have a great day. Take care.